Are you busy one month and land a closing, and then for months you're back at zero starting over? Today, I'm going to dig into one of the key reasons why this is. And this one thing is critical to building a successful and profitable real estate business. And if you are ignoring it, that's exactly why your income feels inconsistent. This episode might be the one that finally shifts your business. Are you tired of feeling like you're doing all the things as a real estate agent but still not seeing consistent results? Well, that ends right now. Welcome to the Profitable Real Estate Agent, the show for agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building a profitable and sustainable business. This season, we're going to cut through the noise and focus on exactly what it takes to make $100K as a real estate agent. Without the guesswork, without the overwhelm, and without wasting time on things that don't move the needle in your business. I'm pulling back the curtain on the exact framework that took me from my first 100K to 500K to building a 7-figure business. So if you haven't hit 100K yet or you struggle with inconsistency, don't worry, I've got you covered. It's time to take action. Let's get to work. What is costing you money every single month? Simply put, it is your inconsistency. Let me put it this way, and this might be hard to hear. If you don't fix the inconsistency problem, it won't matter how good your plan is, it won't matter how solid your lead generation is, or how great your follow-up is, you're going to stay stuck. And you might not even realize how many opportunities you're even missing out on. Because someone comments on a post or sends you a DM and you didn't follow up or you didn't follow up fast enough. Someone sends you an email, maybe a potential buyer or a referral agent, but you never called them back or scheduled an appointment. And then they end up hiring another real estate agent, not because they were better, but because the other agent stayed top of mind. When you're inconsistent with lead gen and follow-up, this is what's going to keep you on that roller coaster of unpredictable income. You're going to be missing clients, missing deals, and this costs you money and look, also time. Here's how this plays out. You have a few days, maybe even weeks where you feel motivated. The momentum starts to build. You wake up excited. You show up, you make your calls, you do the work. Maybe you even get a house under contract. You're thinking to yourself, this is a great month. And then it closes and you realize, oh, shoot, there's nothing in my pipeline. There's nothing on my board. And then you try to start all over again. But this time you don't see results right away, maybe. So then you become discouraged. Does this sound familiar to any of you? And then because of this discouragement, you pull back. Nothing's working, Vanessa. I'm trying again over and over, and nothing is happening this time. And this start and stop cycle is draining you because you always feel like you're starting over. Burnout happens fast, exhaustion happens fast, and you just want to quit and give up. So if you're nodding your head right now, I totally feel you. I hear you and I see you, although I can't physically see you, but you know what I mean. I have been there so many times, but here's the great news. It does not have to stay this way or be this way. And I'm sure you've been told this 100 times. Well, you just need to stay more consistent. But what does this actually mean? So as I walk you through the next part, I want you to ask yourself at each step, is this where I am personally struggling? So here are the 3 areas that I see agents get stuck in the most and how you can start fixing them. You know what I'm going to say. Do you know your numbers and are you tracking them? And this is one of the biggest things agents overlook. And I'll be honest, I did not fully understand its importance until much later on in my career, which is why I was stuck on the income roller coaster and always feeling like I was starting back at zero. So if you're struggling with inconsistency right now, this could be a key reason why. Because when you're not tracking what you're doing every single day, your conversations, your follow-up, appointments going on agreements, you are guessing your way through the day. And when you're guessing, things feel unpredictable. And because of this, it leads to inconsistency. So let me ask you right now, do you know how many two-way conversations you did last week? Okay, pause for a moment. Do you know how many appointments you booked? How many agreements you signed? Which lead strategies are working, which are not? And if you can't answer any of those questions, look, it is not your fault. There is no shame here. I don't want you to start spiraling and thinking things, okay? Because that is not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to put a spotlight on these issues that I see agents make. but it's because no one ever told you what to track or showed you how to track it. But once you know and you're clear on how many conversations, appointments, agreements, and closings you need to meet your goal, it is going to become way easier. I promise, way easier to stay focused and intentional with your time. Now, of course, these should all sound familiar. These are what? Your fundamentals. Because when you know your numbers, you finally have that direction you need. And you know exactly what to focus on every single day when you wake up. And this clarity is what will fuel your consistency. Number 2, are you still winging your day with no clear plan? This kind of goes hand in hand with knowing your numbers. But do you actually wake up thinking, what should I do today? And because there's no plan, your day ends up running you. How many times did you check email today already? 10 times, 25 times, 50 times? How many times have you checked it? Are you finding yourself, you're saying social media is a lead gen strategy, but what you're doing is you end up scrolling endlessly on social media? Are you reacting to everything instead of following a schedule and being intentional? And before you know it, the day is over. You didn't lead gen, you didn't follow up with leads from the open house that you had last weekend, and you didn't do the things that actually moved your business forward. It is nearly impossible to be consistent because every day looks different. Hey, a real quick pause before we go deeper. If you're listening right now and thinking, I want a clear plan to finally reach 100K, then check out my signature program. It's my step-by-step framework for real estate agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building real results. Inside, you're going to learn the exact fundamentals to build the foundation to hitting 100K. We're going to cover everything from mastering your buyer and seller consultations to building your database and delivering a 5-star client experience and everything in between. You're going to get access to my scripts, templates, and checklists. Plus, we're going to have coaching, accountability, and support so you never feel alone. Click on the link in the show notes now to join the roadmap to 100K. All right, let's take you back to the episode. Here's what I want you to do. You've got to start following a set schedule. And this starts with setting a time you go into the quote unquote office every single day. Now, we know, of course, we don't go to the brokerage office like we used to, and sometimes we're working from home. Now, if you are working from home, here's a quick note for you. Be sure you let your family know what your working hours are, whether you tell them, hey, when I'm sitting at my desk and my computer's open, I am working. Or if you have a designated space that you can dedicate to work time. Even create a sign that says, do not disturb working, whatever you need to do to make sure that they understand when you're at a specific location that that means you are working. Now, I covered the full breakdown of what an ideal week should look like in episode 13. So I'm not going to go into specific details here, but you definitely want to go back and listen to that if you want help structuring your schedule. All right, you've got your numbers. You understand the importance of having a set schedule. Now you need to make sure those lead generation strategies and follow-up plan are actually blocked and protected on your calendar. What do I mean by that? This means that they're the most important appointments of your day and nothing should get in the way. And it's important to note, if you find yourself on that income roller coaster, back starting at 0 every single month, it's probably because these are not blocked daily on your schedule. And if you haven't created your plan yet for lead generation, which is what you need to know to go on your schedule, I want you to go back to episodes 2, 3, and 4 of this season, and I walk you through how to pick the right strategies for you and actually how to build a plan around them. Because we want to make sure your lead generation plan feels aligned and is aligned with your goals and numbers. And when it does, this makes it much easier to be consistent. Number 3 and last is you have no accountability. Now, if you came from a W-2 job, this is one of the biggest mindset shifts you have to make. And a lot of agents miss the connection. We had over COVID, a lot of people come into real estate. They're like, this is my time. Things are changing in my workplace. I've been wanting to get my license for a while. And we saw this happen with a lot of our COVID agents. Because as an employee, what happens? You have a start time. You're following a schedule, right? Here's when your lunch break is. You have deadlines. Someone is checking your work to make sure it got done. But now you're the CEO of your own business. No one's looking over your shoulder to make sure you showed up to work today, to make sure you made your calls, you followed up and executed your plan. And without this accountability, it's very easy for us to say, I'll get to it tomorrow. And that's when our inconsistency starts to creep in. Think of it this way. If you're an employee of your own company, which you are, would you keep yourself right now on the payroll? So I'm going to say that again. If you are an employee of your own company, which you are, and you have a job to do, and these were your jobs, here's your deadlines, here's what you need to accomplish, would you keep yourself and pay yourself right now? Because if the answer is no, something has to shift. You wouldn't keep someone else on the payroll who doesn't show up, who doesn't do the things that they're supposed to do, would you? And another way to look at this, especially if you're newer or building on your own, so many agents feel isolated. I did. And you're trying to figure everything out alone and on your own. I mean, you go on social media and everyone's telling you, do this, take this, don't do this, right? I mean, it's overwhelming. There's so much noise. And when you feel like you're isolated on an island by yourself, staying consistent is even harder. This is why accountability matters. You need someone holding you accountable. You need someone holding you to what you said you would do. So what would this look like? Hire a coach, a business friend who actually will ask you, hey, did you do what you said you were going to do today? Or even plan out a simple system, a tracking sheet, a recurring time block every Friday on your calendar to review your numbers, something that keeps you honest. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to exist. Because when you're accountable, you are going to show up a lot differently. You're going to follow through, and that's what builds real consistency. And when I look at this in the big picture, this is my passion and my mission, because 87% of you are going to fail within 5 years. And that's why I spent the last 3 years developing my signature program with you in mind, because I know what it takes to hit 6 figures consistently, and I know what's missing. And I've created the framework just for you so you can take the guesswork and start closing homes and making 10, 20K plus a month. So link is in the show notes if you want to join today. One more thing though, before we wrap up. These do not need to be all overhauled by Monday of next week, okay? I want you to be careful not to try to do too much at one time, because guess what? This is going to lead to more overwhelm and more inconsistency. So I want you to pick one area right now when you finish this episode and just work on that first. Build the habit and then move on to what's next. Let's focus on progress over perfection this week. All right, I'm cheering you on. Bye for now. Success as a real estate agent comes down to a decision: to show up, take action, and stay committed. So don't just listen. Apply what you learned today and put it into motion. If you need help getting started, I want you to grab my free 60 lead gen strategy guide so you can start finding the right lead gen strategies that'll work for you. And if you're a motivated, ambitious agent who's ready to hit 6 figures, join my Roadmap to 100K program. You'll find both links in the show notes. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with a fellow agent and leave me a 5-star rating and review, as it helps more agents just like you find the show. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time on The Profitable Real Estate Agent.